Our next guest, our next speaker is somebody that if you haven't heard from him before, hopefully you'll be hearing a whole lot more about him in coming months. And this is South Carolina State Senator Lee Bright.
It's great to be a patriot. I also saw that today where they were moving the barricades. You know, let's think back. And I know we owe a certain degree of respect to the office.
No, we don't.
But this guy in the White House.
You don't have none anymore.
Let's think about this. This guy was trained by Jane Fonda and her crowd. He loves this fight, the way he can treat our veterans. Well, let me tell you, I love you, and I appreciate what you've done for our country. Because it's the veterans, when you look at what Patrick Henry talked about, life being so sweet and peace being so sweet. When Patrick Henry talked those words about what you would not be willing to risk for the chains of slavery, when Patrick Henry said those words, he was talking about veterans, because veterans have been there and done that. They put their lives on the line for this country. And it breaks my heart to have a president who would do what he's done in the past few weeks. I mean, I'm just in total shock. I mean, this is supposed to be our commander-in-chief. But I got to tell you something. Those veterans up there today in Washington, and you that have made it here, have made this stand to show, and this is the beginning. This is a tidal wave. We're taking our country back. My grandfather served in World War II. He was in North Africa. My father was over in Vietnam. He was in the Navy, served over there. And our veterans come back, and they have to wait for the health care that they've earned. We've got this Obamacare system where I serve in the state Senate, and that's what all this shutdown's about. This is about Obamacare. They're trying to distract us. They're trying to cause pain, but it comes down to Obamacare. We had a guy come down here who was an expert on Obamacare and told us we didn't need nullification and was telling us all the things that weren't in the Obamacare bill. But in the end, it was my turn to ask a question. And I said, sir, you've flown down from Washington. I have only one question for you. Have you read the bill? He said no. He was the expert to come down here and tell us about Obamacare. This is a scourge to our land, an absolute scourge. It's going to take away our independence.
Right.
That's exactly right. Everything that y'all fought for, that bill's going to take away from us, because what it's going to do is it's going to make us fully reliant on our health care to the government.
We're slaves.
And that's exactly right. Our freedom is being taken away, and it's been taken a little at a time because the government has come to us and said, we can provide it for you.
No, they can't.
No matter what it is, they can provide it for you, and each time a little bit of our liberty is lost. There are only two groups that can take away your freedom. Only two. The government and criminals. Now, our system that y'all fought for is for a government to protect us from the criminals. That's what this system's about. But throughout history, governments have done more to take away rights than criminals have ever done. So we're going to have to fight for our freedoms. And I want to tell you another thing. I was talking to a veteran just the other day, and he was talking about PTSD and the gun grab that's going on. And let me tell you something. The president and these folks up in D.C. are afraid of veterans because they know that you're willing to fight for your freedom.
That's right. Yeah.
And by God, they ought to be afraid of what they're trying to do up there. So y'all just keep up the fight. I've got your back in Columbia, and I hope to have you back in Washington here in about 6 months. Just today, you had Ted Cruz and Sarah Palin and Mike Lee up there today. And Sarah Palin made the comment to Barack Obama about the Veterans Memorial, and he said, Mr. President, tear down these barricades. Just like our president had to say to a Russian president about tearing down a wall around our monument. This is our property, this is our country, and this is our freedom, and it's time we tell those folks in Washington, hands off, we're taking it back. I want to thank you for being here. God bless you for being here. And for those of you that have served, we owe you this freedom we have. When I stand in that well in the Senate and raise the cane that I raise, there's one reason I can do that. There's one reason I can stand behind this microphone right now today, and that's the veteran. And I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Lee. Lee Bright.